Well, Boris Johnson faced questions from MPs today for the first time since narrowly winning his confidence vote on Monday. He said he's determined to get on with the job, that's what they always say, by the way, and came back fighting when asked about politicians plotting against him.
I, of course, picked up political opponents all over the place. And that is because this government has done some very big and very remarkable things which they did not necessarily approve of. And what I want her to know is that absolutely nothing and no one, least of all her, is going to stop us with getting on for delivering to people.
And then Labour's Angela Eagle told the Prime Minister that he was loathed and should resign.
This week's events, Mr. Speaker, have demonstrated just how loathed this Prime Minister is. Yeah. And that's only in his own party. So, as his administration is too distracted by its internal divisions to deal with the challenges we face, can the Prime Minister explain if 148 of his own backbenchers don't trust him, why on earth should the country?
Well, meanwhile, Labour leader Keir Starmer used the opportunity to question the Prime Minister's record on the NHS.
Pretending no rules were broken didn't work. Pretending the economy is booming didn't work. And pretending to build 40 new hospitals won't work either. They want him to change, but he can't. As always with this Prime Minister, when he's falling short, he just changes the rules and lowers the bar.
So that was a lively session of Prime Minister's questions today, but did Boris stand up to the pressure? Well, I've slightly surprised myself on this today, because I am absolutely in the camp of those who really thought the Prime Minister should have resigned actually a long time ago and have been pretty sickened by the lowering of standards that he has himself presided over. But I just kind of feel that having lost that campaign by the rebels, having lost their case on Monday, they should probably kind of accept it. I mean, I know it's too much to ask them to accept it gracefully, but I feel that it's no good for the country if they don't accept that they lost their case on Monday. And, you know, for them to now start talking about changing the rules so that they can challenge him again, it just feels as if this is just going to grind the whole country down. And when I heard Angela Eagle, Labour's Angela Eagle there, talking about how the Prime Minister was, in quotes, loathed, I have to say I winced a bit. You know, I'm not one to defend Boris Johnson, but that kind of language, it feels so sort of debasing of Parliament. And I'm sorry if that sounds a bit lofty, but it kind of made me actually feel almost a little bit as if I wanted to stand up for the Prime Minister, a real novelty feeling.
I mean, fortunately, I don't think he needs you to stand up
he really
for him.
Doesn't.
Fortunately, I really don't think so. I think you see, or you saw today in Parliament, the mettle of the man. You saw that he's absolutely at ease in that kind of environment and, in fact, rises to the challenge, does it naturally and with colossal aplomb. You could see him enjoying it. Other people might have been quailing under what that woman assumed was some kind of deadly loathing. He doesn't at all quail. In fact, he expands, and you can see the charisma and you can see the years of confidence inbuilt in the Eton Debating Society, at the Oxford Union. He's used to that kind of thing. And actually, I thought he relished it. I thought he did a damn good job. I particularly like the bit where he said his political career hadn't even begun yet.
Yeah.
You know, it was all before him. None of it was behind him.
He acts like he's made of Teflon. Everything just bounces off him. And he's one of those people that you just can't offend. You can call him anything and it's just like, you know, he just ignores. You can see it doesn't penetrate him. However, I think that he should have stayed in, because at this time, the one thing we don't need is a change in
Yeah.
There's hardly ever a good time.
There's too much going on.
But there's never a good time.
No, there's never a good time.
But you just look at the war, OK? everything here is upside down. The health system, the cost of living, prices are going over the top on everything. And I think especially now is not the right time
Where are
to
you
change guard.
on this, James? Do you think that he can now brazen it out? Do you think that his performance today showed that he can actually bounce back from this, rather than being the kind of staggering along mortally wounded, that he can actually almost own this?
Well, exactly. Well, first of all, I think he does have to own it. He's now got a year. And when you see a performance like that from Keir Starmer, who, frankly, I was expecting Larry Grayson to turn up, shut that door, generation game. It was the most pathetic performance. He had every single open goal. He missed pretty much every single goal. It was a pretty poor performance from him. And sometimes he's quite good. He is weak. And the other thing is that if somebody is prepared to use the word loathed and almost salivate over its delivery, then you begin to think, hang on a second, you've gone too far. And I agree with you. I'm going to have a little bit of sympathy and empathy with Boris Johnson, but also I want Boris Johnson to act. So now is the time to get on with the job, which means stop talking about it, stop the bluster, let's have some actions. We've got cost of living crisis, get on with it.
We've got...
listen, he hasn't got a clue,
Let him speak.
Come on, JJ.
Thank you.
Come on, JJ. What do you got?
When someone like Boris Johnson, who has described women who wear the burqa as letterboxes, was it?
No,
This is years ago. I think it was years ago.
Wheel it out
actually
now.
describe them as
that's
letterboxes. That's technically incorrect.
He is a man who has not ever used his own, being careful of his own usage of words. So if someone say that he's loathed, well, actually, a lot of people in his party did want him out, so I think it's fair use to say that he is loathed. Secondly, Keir Starmer, I agree with you. Generally, the man's got a weak chin, but I think at this time, he's playing the long game, because it's much smarter for Labour to keep in Boris the lame duck for the next general election and to go against him than to bring in somebody else who's not going to have made anywhere near the same amount of mistakes that Boris has made over the past 2-3 years, and not get in someone who's more competent. So I think it's actually smart for Keir Starmer to have been a bit more gentle on Boris in the hope that he is there for the next general election.
Do you think he could make a good Prime Minister?
No, I don't think he could. I don't think
that's the point,
well, there you go.
And there you go. But you see, that's the point about Keir Starmer, which is Labour is going to have to start in the same way that Boris Johnson's got to start delivering. And he's got to stop with the bluster, he's got to stop with the excuses, stop with everything else. And I do want him to stop with the lying as well. I'm sick and tired of it.
I think that's a vain hope.
It is look, he has form, I agree. But I really want to see some proper tackling of the cost of living crisis, which
100%.
government can act on and can do some things. But there are a whole range of other things, the levelling up, the other actions that he's really got to take.
Maybe be a Tory government, maybe?
Yeah, maybe be a Tory government. But then Labour have got to deliver some policy. There isn't. Even Peter Mandelson was writing today and saying, come on, you've got to deliver some policies, otherwise you're never going to have a chance. And you can't just
I don't know
sit
what they
there
stand for. I still don't know what they stand for.